Hey, this is George Sawtooth. I'm here at Mountain View Cemetery, Longmont. This cemetery was established 1876. There's Main Street over there, and 11th Street's over here. This is Mountain View Avenue right here. But it's just a short stroll through the Mountain View Cemetery, Longmont. Longmont was established 1870 by some guys from Chicago. It's called the Chicago, Colorado Colony originally. I think Longmont had like the first public library in Boulder County. This is Boulder County actually. So yeah, it's kind of a cute little cemetery. Longmont also has that air traffic controller that they built in the early 1960s. It kind of monitors air traffic here in western part of the United States. I'm sure it monitors everywhere though, all over the United States. But that was established in 1962. I believe it's still there, kind of over there, in that direction. But this is a short stroll. See, the grass is starting to turn green. So see, I'm looking for a specific grave, but with the last name of Drythe, but I found Rose and Benjamin Drythe. But I'm looking for a certain other guy named Drythe, but I wonder if these are his relatives. Rose 1916 to 1993, Benjamin 1907 to 1994. Oh, that's a noisy airplane. Dwayne W. November 3rd, 1937. Betty Jo, October 26th, 1938 to 2022. But Dwayne's still alive. They were married in 1958. And then here's a baby, Wesley Scott Drythe, must have been their baby. May to June. Didn't even make it a month, unfortunately, 1959. So spring is in the air. See, the plants are starting to come up. Grass is starting to turn green. This is Boulder County, Longmont, Mountain View Cemetery. A lot of old trees in this cemetery, established 1876. Like I said, I need to come out to all these cemeteries when in the summertime when it's so beautiful. Let's read a few more graves. John L. Byrne, Iris J. Byrne, 1905 to 1959. 1908 to 1999. So I always point out these couples. Iris lived quite a bit longer than John, 40 years. She must never got remarried. She must have loved the guy. Joseph E. Byrne. This must have been 1899 and 1983. Must have been a relative of John. Yeah, must have been his brother. 6 years older. He's 6 years older than John here. Joseph is. Woodward. Russell O. 1927 and 1990. Here's another Cora. Cora Tilford McCartney. 1875 to 1960. That must have been a very popular name, Cora, because in the Johnstown Cemetery, Cora Dilly is buried, and she was that minister for Elwell, Colorado, just west of Johnstown. And Johnstown took over that town because that town never did have a post office, so it kind of dwindled, and Johnstown took over. But this lady, Cora Dilly, was the minister, and there was a little chapel that she was buried next to. And then once it burned down, the second chapel, they moved her body into the Johnstown Cemetery, the old Elwell Cemetery. And then they moved that Dilly Chapel into Johnstown. And I guess where it still is there today, and it's being remodeled. And some lady, I guess, owns it. I think it'd be kind of cool to live in an old church. Pete Tonoff, 1888 to 1969. Humphreys. Yeah, I remember whenever I see Humphrey, I always remember the Humphrey the bear. He was so funny. I think that was Walt Disney, wasn't it? Humphrey the bear cartoons, man, they were so funny. He was always getting into trouble. Humphrey. That brings back so many memories. Humphreys. Louis R. and Lois L. 1930 to 2015, 1926 to 2006. Melvin Roy Anderson, World War II, 1920 to 1957. That's cool. I'm sure this isn't Ozzy Osbourne's relation over here. This is Osbourne. Elwyn C., Colleen N., and Grace E. 1907 and 1981, 1937 and 1956, 1910 and 1987. I wonder if Colleen was their daughter. She only lived, what, 19 years? 19 years old. That's too bad. Joanna Hunter, 1887 to 1963. Grant Hunter, World War I, 1888 to 1956. That must have been his wife. Let's see here. So I'm looking for that other Drythe, and I'm having a hard time trying to find it. It's kind of a quiet, beautiful scent. A lot of beautiful old trees. Whenever you see these trees with these fairly large diameters, you know that they're a fairly old tree. Krona, Pete G., 1885 to 1961. Ellen S., 1892 to 1986. Oh, and then for those of you that like ghosts and haunted places, I am in the process of booking a room at the Patterson Mansion. It's the old Croke Patterson Mansion. It's called the Patterson Inn now, and I'm gonna see if they can let me do some videos on the inside of that building and on the outside of that building, built in, I believe, 1890. But it was always considered one of the most haunted places in Colorado. The old Croke Patterson Mansion, 15,000 square feet, and it has a carriage house that's 5,000 square feet. That's bigger than the carriage house is bigger than my house. Anaya, Ramona Filano, 1931 to 2017, 1936 to 2015. Here's a picture of them. Oh, they're having a glass of wine, it looks like. Filano Jose, also, he was in the U.S. Army. I wonder, because Filano Joe, but this is Filano Jose, 1936. February 19th, 1937, but here it's February 19th, 1936. Huh, that is weird. Wonder if they got the date wrong, or if that's a different person. I always stumble upon some interesting things in cemeteries. Juan Luis Garcia, rest in peace until we meet again. Benson. Remember the old show Benson? Eugene A. Ethel A. 1905 to 1959. 1907 to 1963. Benson, yeah, the old show Benson. Robert Guillaume was the actor. That was kind of a funny show. And look at this huge old tree that died that they had to cut. Now that was a huge tree. That thing was old, probably 100 years old was my guess. Let's see what kind of a tree that was. Kind of hard to tell. It could have been an ash tree, possibly. Okay, Mr. Dryth, where are you? Might have to go to the office and maybe they can direct me, because it's a very interesting story, this young Mr. Dryth that died in 1968. That's a cool name. I like this name. Bottom. Thomas Bottom, 1854 to 1922. Mother Elizabeth, 1870 to 1945. Matthew Simpson, 1845 to 1927. Very interesting. Longmont, Colorado. I don't come to Longmont too much. Like I said, it's a little bit too busy for me. I kind of stay away from places that are too busy. Huh, that's interesting. There was just a Benson there, and now there's a Benson here, Benson Ropa. And this is a family here, Dr. Walter Benson. Oh, he was a doctor, medical doctor probably, huh? Wife of Dr. W.R. Benson, Eureka. That's a very interesting name. December 12th, 1881 to 1938. Baby Benson, son of Eugene and Ethel, 1930. A.G. Ropa, husband of LaRue Ropa, 1896 and 1948. LaRue Ropa, Witten, 1906 to 1966. Here's a cool old graveyard here, Daniels. Let's see, this is a beautiful tree. This is a, when I say beautiful, you know, I don't think of a tree, you know, when they're sleeping, I think they're still beautiful. But that diameter of that tree is pretty big, 3 feet, I bet. That's a honey locust tree. And I don't know, I just think, even when they're asleep, I still think trees is beautiful. And then when he leaves out, he's really going to be gorgeous. But this is Daniels. Walter E., 1869 to 1921. Josie E., 1873 to 1963. It's a beautiful day. Clouds are so beautiful. Did you guys happen to see the solar eclipse this past Monday? I thought it was kind of cool. I really didn't watch it, but I like to see the kind of the filtered sunlight once it reaches its peak, you know, and it gets kind of cold too. All right, Mr. Dryth. Here's Bentley. Joseph and Josephine. Wow, Joseph married Josephine. Did they have little nicknames? Hey Joe, hey Joe. Was that their two nicknames for each other? Hey, where's Joe? I don't know where Joe is, but here's Joe. Very fun. That's cool. Joseph and Josephine, 1852 to 1922, 1854 to 1940. And Partridge, the Partridge Family. That was another old show. Nelson H. Partridge, 1894 to 1969. Violet Partridge, 1896 to 1985. Dorothy Rutquit, 1869 to 1954. And then Holy G. Rutquit, 1857 and 1922. All right. It's a beautiful day. I hope I can find Mr. Drythe, but let me go look at this Carl. I used to know a guy named Carl. Carl, that must be his last name. Born 1918 and died 1918, so he was just a July 31st to August 18th. They didn't even live a month. Another poor baby that didn't live very long. I'd like to get this one's right next to the road here. Albert W., son of W.J. Hubner, June 3rd to June 11th, 1921. I hear a crazy bird over there making a weird noise. I don't know what kind of bird that is. This looks like a cottonwood, a pretty big one. Alright, thanks you guys. Thanks for watching my video. This is just a short stroll through the Mountain View Cemetery, Longmont, on a beautiful Wednesday. Clouds, a little bit of clouds rolling in from the mountains. Sky is beautiful blue over here. If you're ever in Longmont, check out this cemetery. Downtown Longmont has a lot of beautiful old buildings, historic buildings, and I have a book. A lot of those are supposedly haunted as well. Baby Flynn, 1923. All right, Baby Flynn. I hope you're having fun wherever you are. I'm sure you are. Take care, guys. God bless. See you in the next video.